Just the other day, I told you guys to avoid these WWE action figures at all costs. And I got a lot of requests to make a part 2 of that video, so we're back again today with more WWE figures you should avoid, and these are better options for you. So back in the day, man, this figure had a lot of love, but unfortunately, I think that the lore or the pizzazz has kind of wore off. Now, it's still legendary, but the Elite 12 Kane has kind of become a figure that you can completely avoid. Now, for historic reasons, nostalgic reasons, I understand why you would pick this up, but objectively speaking, there are a lot better options for you instead of this Elite 12 Kane. Now, it had a great run for the time. This was considered one of the best WWE Elites that you could buy. But in the modern day, it is no longer here, man. You can see single jointed arms. Not necessarily cheap looking. It just shows its age. You know, no interchangeable hands, dated head sculpt. Still a legendary piece in the Mattel line. But I'm going to show you 3 different options that you could buy that would be better for your money. First of all, the Ultimate Edition Kane. I mean, the stature of this figure, the mass sculpt. It's got butterfly joints. It's built better. It just, I mean, look at the muscular arms and the way that this figure's built. Interchangeable hands. You got the glove sculpt versus the bare hand. This is just a lot better figure, man. This Ultimate Edition Kane, not to mention the more accurate boots. You also have, I think this is the Defining Moments Kane, which is pretty much the Elite 12 just completely revamped. So this is an actual Elite that is a better version of the Elite 12. Just straight up. Look at them side by side here. The mask, the build, the interchangeable hands again. And then you could even take it a step further and you could get into the Monday Night Wars Elite, which is also very damn good. Now, it's slightly repainted and stuff. They gave him the glossy boots instead of the laced up matte ones. But these 3 Kanes significantly better than the Elite 12, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense objectively to pick up the Elite 12 Kane in the modern day. Again, not a bad figure still, but there's better options, man. There's better options out there for you. I'm just telling you, man. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you. Another one would be the Elite Fan Takeover Randy Orton. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, you just said that was the best Ultimate. You just ranked that figure number 1. You just talked about how great the figure was. I'm not talking about this figure, man. This Elite figure, you should totally pass up. You don't need this. What you do need is the Ultimate Edition equivalent, which is better than this Fan Takeover Elite. Now, you know, I mean, it's pretty much goes without saying. Now, I kind of low-key like the big arms here that they were used to use back in the day, but I think that the Ultimate Edition is just so better. It's so much better in so many different ways, man. Not to mention, it's an Ultimate Edition, so you're going to get a lot more accessories. You're going to get the Evolution shirt. You get double jointed arms. You get better posability out of this guy. It just doesn't make sense to go get the Elite Fan Takeover when you can get the Ultimate, which is the same figure pretty much. It's just upgraded into Ultimate Edition form. Now, sometimes the Elite can be on par with the Ultimate, and not that that Elite is bad. I'm just telling you there's better options out there for you. Another one that may be a hot take, the Entrance Greats Kurt Angle. Now, I do like the Entrance Greats Kurt Angle. It's not that this figure's bad or I think that it's trash in some way or whatever. I actually like the Entrance Greats a lot, but I would avoid the Entrance Greats Kurt Angle and I would avoid the first Ultimate Edition. Now, don't get me wrong. Kurt Angle, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, okay? This is where I fell in love with professional wrestling, is with Kurt Angle. However, if you were going to go for a different Elite or a better Elite or an Ultimate, I would recommend the Legends Elite. I like this one better. You get the legendary gray t-shirt. I also like the gear better. It's got double jointed arms. And I think that it represents Kurt Angle better than that Entrance Greats figure. And then, obviously, we have 2 different Ultimate Edition Kurt Angles. I would recommend getting the Ultimate Edition Kurt Angle over the first Ultimate. So the second Ultimate, in my opinion, is better than the first. And not that this Screaming Head Sculpt's the greatest of all time. I just think this is built better. Now, I know you get the cloth singlet with this first Ultimate Edition, which may be a selling point for you. And I'm thinking of ways, and I may have an idea on how we can convert this figure into a better looking, because you guys know I hate this Ultimate Warrior style torso. I think that it's pretty trash. So I think the sculpted singlet looks a little bit better, and I just like this figure better than the first Ultimate. However, I do like that there's a cloth singlet here where you can pull the straps down, do the whole Kurt Angle-esque deal, but I would say buy these 2 over these 2. I think that you get a better Kurt Angle more representation of a Kurt Angle. And I hope we continue to get more Kurt Angles, man. I need the Kurt Angle boots. None of these have the right boots that I want, but hopefully that'll come soon. And I just think that these two are less than compared to these two. Let me know. You think that's a hot take? I know a lot of people actually really like that first Ultimate. I can't remember where I ranked him, but I remember being very disappointed. I think that's one of the more disappointing figures because we waited so long for that version of Kurt Angle, and when it came out, I didn't even know who it was when I first saw the prototype. So that was pretty devastating. Next up, we have honeycomb mouth Brock Lesnar. Okay, if you're going to buy a modern day Brock Lesnar, don't buy the Elite 108. I think Elite 108, besides one figure, maybe two, is objectively awful. Elite 108 was a terrible wave. And I like modern day Brock Lesnar figures. Brock Lesnar figures are really, really good. This is where they switched to pinless. We got a Royal Rumble Elite that was pinless and things like that. He's got the honeycomb mouth. If you're going to get Cowboy Brock, you better get the damn Elite 99. Or hell, even the 3-pack with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. But if you're going to get a Brock Lesnar with shorts like this, a modern one, then you might as well go for the head and get the best Ultimate Edition they've ever made. The Ultimate Edition Brock, the second one, the best Ultimate they've ever made right here, is just the greatest thing that you're going to find out there, man. This figure right here is worth every single penny that you would put into any other Brock Lesnar, especially a modern-day Brock Lesnar. Now, I do love the Farmer Brock at the Elite 99. I do love those figures. I like the 3-pack Brock. I think that there's some other solid Elite Brocks. You know, you can get into the Ruthless Aggression era-looking Brocks, but in terms of a modern day, avoid this figure, avoid the Royal Rumble Elite. Just save up all that money and go get the damn Ultimate, man. It's the best representation. You get a lot of little bells and whistles with it. You get that screaming head sculpt. It's the GOAT, man. It's the GOAT. It's fantastic. You will not be upset with your purchase on that figure right there. I'm just telling you. Next up, we are getting into kind of a crazy thing, and I may make a whole video on this subject, but I would avoid the AEW Adam Coles. I would avoid the AEW Adam Coles, okay? I am about to do a comparison here, and maybe we could do a video where we take every AEW figure of a talent and put it in a versus or a combat scenario where it takes on the WWE figure. So you can take the Jazzwares equivalent to a Mattel and then go band for the figures and see, you know, compare a Sting and compare a Sting, or compare this and compare that, and then see who wins, and then keep a scoreboard. I think that would be a fun video. Let me know if you guys want to see that. WWE versus AEW figures of the same talent now. You can't compare. You got to do the same character. But this is what I wanted to talk about, man. I would avoid the AEW Jazzwares Adam Coles, and I think that they got the height right. I just don't like the body build. I think proportionately, these just don't look as good up next to other characters. They just look weird to me up next to other characters. I never liked this formula when they give talent this torso. I do like it more than the Daniel Bryan torso. I just think it's a little too big. I think I would rather have the Daniel Bryan torso over something like this. It's not like a Terry Funk scenario where the Terry Funk scenario or the Terry Funk torso was a pretty good representation. However, Mattel had this weird thing where they would make people way too damn small. Look how small this figure is. They give him the Daniel Bryan torso and then give him these baby legs. Now, not like Adam Cole's out here squatting 600 pounds or something like that, but look how tiny it would make the figures. So what I would do is every Adam Cole we would get, I would replace the thighs and legs with William Regal thighs or Ric Flair thighs to give him the appropriate height, and the torso would still not be the greatest, but a character like Adam Cole, it wouldn't bother me as much as, you know, an Edge or a Chris Jericho or a Daniel Bryan. I could see past it a little bit, which is why Jazzwares and AEW always gave us this torso, is because it was for those medium guys, not the overly jacked cut guys, but the guys that, you know, just had a standard build. But I think this makes for the best formula, but I would still say that the Elite 92, the Chase, the Mattel versions of Adam Cole are better than the Jazzwares versions of Adam Cole overall. And so if this were that WWE versus AEW video, I would give the nod to the Mattel figures, even though it's not a huge disadvantage. But look at what happens when you upgrade the legs, man. It just makes them way better. I don't know. Let me know what you think there. Next up, we're getting into a crazy one. We got Stardust, man. Now, unless you're trying to match your Gold Dust, I would not buy this Stardust. I think there are better Stardusts out there. I think that the Elite 103 Stardust from WrestleMania 32 is a better figure. I think that this one right here in the Dusty Rhodes gear, I think this is sick. Probably my favorite gear Stardust ever wore. But you also have the WrestleMania 31 gear, which is out of the WrestleMania Elite Wave in the orange and black, which I think is also a better figure. You get double jointed arms, and not that the Elite 36 Stardust is bad on the far left, not that this figure is bad, it's just not as good as these other two. I think that you have some really cool stuff going on here. Now, I did glue some gems to his forehead to make it more accurate, but I like that kind of the entrance cape and the interchangeable hands and different things. He doesn't come with choke slamming hands, unlike this figure. He's got that kind of choke slamming grabby hand. I don't know, man. The other Stardust. There's also a Chase Elite 103 in the blue that is also better than this Stardust. So avoid this Stardust. Pick up the other three options that you have for Stardust out there. And the last figure we're getting into, man, is going to be any old Undertaker that came with these rubber coats. Just throw them the hell out in the yard, man. You don't need them. Any Undertaker with a rubber coat, unless it's a vest, okay? Any entrance duster that's sleeveless, I'm good with that. Any coat that, honestly, dude, I may say avoid any figure that comes with these damn rubber jackets because, I mean, dude, look at how crazy this figure looks. And I think this figure came out in 2014 or 2015, and you could just see the age on it, but we have gotten 3 more versions of that look of Taker. Gray hat, gray gloves, or, you know, the gray boot covers, and they are just much better, man. You get the cloth coat. You get another cloth coat with the jaw-dropping debut here. So this is an Ultimate Edition. So you get all kinds of different stuff with that one. You get cloth goods, cloth cape, interchangeable hands. And then I think this is this the Raw 30th Anniversary 3-pack one? I can't remember off the top of the dome. Maybe this one is. I cannot remember. But all 3 of these Takers are better than this one. You'll also notice their faces and the skin tone. Just look at how much more detailed these other Takers are in comparison to the first go-around. They're kind of getting blown out, but you can kind of see what's going on there. So that's just crazy, man. You don't need that first one. This is the WrestleMania 31 Elite. No need to have it. Any Undertaker with that damn coat on there, man, that straight jacket coat where you can't even move him. Always hated that, man. I've always been a big hater on rubber accessories, especially if they're going to prevent articulation. Just makes no sense to me, man. There would be no reason to pick those figures up. But that's pretty much the figures that I wanted to talk about today, man. There's just better options for you out there, man. And then I think a lot of people, you know, they go out there into the market looking in the after, you know, they'll go on eBay, they'll type in Kane Elite, and then they'll just kind of buy whatever instead of doing the research or, you know. And it's hard because there's so many figures out there, and I hope that that's something that I can provide for you is giving you as much information as possible when we're doing news, when we're doing reviews and things like that so that you can learn, so that you can know these things moving forward, so that you have a better approach and you're not out here just buying figures to buy figures. You can have a plan of attack for your purchases and your collections and your display. So there is that, man. But that's pretty much going to wrap it up for me today, man. Let's get into our random comment shout out. And our comment today is going to go to Deeza Chester 3, maybe? Finally, favorite part of the channel is the fix-ups and customs. Gives me new ideas and inspiration to make my own, which is the whole point of surgery, man. It's to teach you how to customize yourself and give you a perspective on how these figures work and how their parts come together so that you can make your own creations with your own ideas and make your own things. That's the whole point of the whole thing, man. And that's that's probably not my number one part of the entire collecting genre is Frankenstein things together to create our own figures without using any paint or anything like that. Maybe some subtle paint here and there, but if you can create these figures by just part switching and stuff, I think that's incredible. And it makes for some fun things. So if you guys missed surgery yesterday, definitely go check that out. But I appreciate you guys so very much for watching. I'm getting the hell out of here, man. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know your thoughts. I'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.